Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupak Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. At the outset, I would like to inform everybody that today is the auspicious appearance day of His Holiness Jai Pataka Swami Maharaj. And on this auspicious day of his appearance day, there was a Bhumi Pujan of Bhaktivedanta Hospital at Kathmandu, Nepal. This happened in the morning today. So this would be Bhaktivedanta Hospital first time out of India. They have been donated half an acre land from government, local community and government. And they have been also granted 1 crore Nepali rupees as the initial contribution for construction of the Bhaktivedanta Hospital at Kathmandu, which is very close to ISKCON Kathmandu temple. Hare Krishna. This is the power of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So I will try to sing the holy name, the Lord, for a few minutes. For your information, I am sitting at the banks of Bhagirathi Ganga at Uttarkashi, Ganeshpur, where Ganesh Ganga and Bhagirathi Ganga meet to form Ganesh Prayag. I am sitting there at the bottom of Himalayas, the lap of Himalayas. So it's very, very beautiful and pleasant to keep on gazing to Himalayas while I'll be speaking to you and chanting the holy name. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram 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 Shri Ram Jaya Shri Ram Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Rupati Ratita Pavan Sita Ram Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram Patita Pavan Sita Ram Sita Ram Jai 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 Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram Sitaram Jai Sitaram, Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram, Patita Pavan Sitaram. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Sri Ram Jai Jai Ram, Sri Ram Jai Jai Ram. Jai Gurudev. It is said that if at all any dharma bhavana is still there in India, the credit goes to Ramayana and Ram Leela. Also, a lot of credit goes to Tulsidas, the saint Tulsidas, who actually spread the glories of the Lord Ram in every village, which is supposed to be technically illiterate and filled with poverty, but rich with Ram consciousness and rich with culture of Vaishnava life. So technically they were not rich people, but to all those people, Tulsidas reached, and in their language, he narrated Ram Leela, the glorious life of Lord Ram. And in Srimad Bhagavatam also, before Shukdev Goswami begins 10th canto, he describes Lord Ram's pastime in brief. It's also explained in one place that when he began narrating about Lord Ram, everybody got scared that now he will got completely immersed in narrating Lord Ram's pastimes. So when he'll be narrating Krishna's pastimes. So he was reminded by one of the people who are like hosts to make it brief. But he did mention and did describe. And there's something called as EKΑÐAŠީ Ramayana in Bhagavatam, wherein one sloka then he just wound up the whole Ramayana. So why it is there in 9th canto of Bhagavatam when Srimad Bhagavatam actually is meant to describe Krishna's pastimes? It is explained that without following the Maryada established by Lord Ram, one cannot understand Purna Purushottam Sri Krishna. Without following, without imbibing, without living as per the rules and regulations and ideals that Lord Ram established in his personal behavior, in his personal character, no one is eligible to actually understand the glories of Purna Purushottam Krishna. Because Lord Ram's life can be followed, but one cannot imitate Sri Krishna's life. It's very bewildering and very confusing. And so at times makes people to criticize him also. Because one requires Guru and Acharyas to explain the purport of the pastimes of Krishna. But of course, we also require purports of Ramayana by the pure devotees. But at the same time, even if there was no purports, still Lord Ram's life is very straight, easily understandable, easily followable also. So that's why understanding Lord Ram is easier, and difficult is to understand Lord Krishna's personality. So it is very much essential to establish ourselves into following the rules and regulations as established by Lord Ram. So that we call in Sanskrit as Maryada. Maryada means the guidelines, the ideals of behavior. And how much the ideals are important. The Maryada, the rules and regulations, and the behavioral culture is important. I will explain to you. Like I'm sitting on the bank of Ganga here, and Ganga has two banks, one this side, one that side. As long as Ganga is flowing within the limits of her banks, everybody goes to Ganga, takes Achman, takes bath, worships Ganga, sits peacefully at the bank of Ganga, prays to her, worships to her. But as soon as there is a flood and Mother Ganga leaves her banks and goes out of her boundaries, then everybody runs away from her. When she is within her boundaries, everybody goes to her and is attracted to her. But if she leaves her boundaries, that means her Maryada, everyone runs away and is scared for their life because she can take their life also. So similarly, human life is like a river. If it goes ahead within the boundaries of the Maryada established by Lord Ram, then that human life which follows that ideal principles mentioned or followed by Lord Ram, then that very human life becomes worshipable, attractive. That is the glory of the following of rules and regulations. So one who breaks the Maryada of rules and regulations, his or her life becomes a disaster. Disaster to himself or herself, and disaster to others also. A man who is beyond human life, Maryada of human life, the etiquettes of human life, is a trouble to himself also and trouble to the whole world also. And a man who is well established in the purports of the Vedas by following rules and regulations, he becomes attractive, he becomes worshipable, he is peaceful, happy, and he also makes others happy who are in contact with him. So that is the glory of Ramayana. Lord Ram's life, it is explained that whoever met Lord Ram in his life, they became free from fear and they became blissful. And whoever hears or heard Ramayana, all the required material acquisitions come to that person. The person who hears Ramayana gets freed from fear, and at the end of his life, he goes back home, back to Godhead. Now we all have heard Ramayana, and still we are not appearing to be eligible to go back to Godhead. Why is that? The reason is that whenever we hear Ramayana, and whenever we hear the glories of Ramayana, we should have complete trust on that. We should not hear it with doubt. We should have complete trust that what I am hearing is completely powerful, enough to make me fearless and go back to Godhead. Because we lack in that absolute nishtha. That is why we hear and we get benefited, but still we don't become eligible to go back to Godhead. But if we hear Ramayana with full faith, with attentive attentive listening, then Ramayana heard once can take us back to Godhead, awarding us the Shuddha Bhakti Purna Seva, that is pure devotional service. So let us understand this very clearly, that how we need to get attracted to Lord Ram. There's a day called Gudi Padwa, the new Samvatsar. Plava Samvatsar started on 13th of April when the Chaitra Navaratri began. On the 9th day, Lord Ram takes birth. So it is said that Lord Brahma started creation or created the Srishti on the day of Gudi Padwa, Chaitra Shuddha Pratipada. But how to live in that world which was created by Lord Brahma is taught in Ramayana. Ram Katha teaches us how to live in this world. Manaviyata, that means humanity, human behavior, or being human. What is the meaning of being human? What is a human being? What is the etiquette makes a living entity human being? Not just having 2 hands and 2 eyes and 2 legs, or human shape or body. What actually makes a so-called physical human being a real human being? All that is taught to us by Ramayana. So Ramayana teaches us how to live in this world, while Brahma creates the world on the Gudi Padwa day. The most original ancient poet of Ramayana is Lord Shiva. Then Adi Kavi of Ramayana is Valmiki Muni. That is the situation. So we are very grateful because some people think that Ramayana was created much before Lord Ram's birth. But that's not the fact. Ramayana was written when Lord Ram came back from exile, became king, and exiled Sita again to Valmiki Muni ashram. At that time, by the mercy of Lord Brahma, Brahma instructed Valmiki to write Ramayana. So Valmiki was thinking that how did I get such qualification to write about Lord Ram? Then in his meditation, he got the answer that he served Sita. He sheltered Sita when she was exiled by Lord Ram to his ashram. So he sheltered her, he took care of her, she delivered babies there, he took care of babies, he raised the babies, he trained them. So he thought maybe because of that, I got this opportunity, a blessing to write Ramayana, to author Ramayana. But he then thought, how did he get the opportunity to serve Sita? What was his qualification to be able to serve Sita? And then further meditation he did, which gave him answer that it is because of the mercy of my Guru Narad Muni. I was a sinful debauchee, but my Guru Narad Muni bestowed his mercy upon me, gave the name of the Lord Ram for me to chant. I couldn't even chant the name of the Lord. So he made me chant the name of the Lord as Mara, 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 opposite exactly the way it is. To my sinful nature, because my shoulders were filled with sins, my tongue could not utter the word of Lord Ram. But still, by his causeless mercy, I could chant the holy name of the Ram, and I became Valmiki Rishi. And because of that mercy of my Guru, I could get Sita in my ashram to serve her. And because of that service to Sita, I got the opportunity to write Ramayana. How beautiful it is to understand like this, without taking any credit, because Valmiki Muni was so exalted that he was sitting at the bank of the river and he saw that one hunter actually killed one couple of birds when they were mating, when they were uniting. At that time, one hunter shot an arrow and killed the male bird, and the male bird cried and died, and female bird cried. So looking at this, the meditation of Valmiki broke, and he uttered a curse in Sanskrit that you will also suffer in the same way. And that curse was so poetic and so poetic and so poetic that Brahma was attracted to appear there. That curse was so beautifully rhymed and beautifully grammared and beautifully composed that although it was curse, supposed to be giving pain to somebody, it gave so much of joy to Lord Brahma's heart that this person is uttering a curse in such a sweet and poetic way, so sweet to hear. So he is the person who is eligible to write Ramayana. And that's how he came down and in one sense requested, instructed. When Narad Muni appeared there, and in the presence of Narad Muni, he was instructed to write Ramayana, and he very humbly and gracefully accepted the instruction. And he wrote Ramayana in his ashram while Sita was there. And the first reciters of the Ramayana was, first editor was Sita, and the reciters were the two sons of Lord Ram, Lava and Kush, without knowing that they were sons of Lord Ram. And then this Ramayana is so wonderful that these two children were told to go and sing the glories of Lord Ram everywhere. And very soon, the way they recited Lord Ram's life was became so famous, and they were getting invitations to recite it everywhere. And the glory of these recitations also went to the ears to Lord Ram, and Lord Ram invited them. And there was a huge assembly hall where Lord Ram used to sit every day. There they were called to recite. And then as these two children started reciting the glories of Lord Ram, everybody in the assembly were ministers and big authorities in Lord Ram's kingdom. They all left their singhasanas and they came on the ground. This was not that they were embarrassed and they came down. It just naturally, without even their knowledge, they just got down and sat on the ground. It was so awesome and so gorgeous and full of reverence, reverential, that the ministers just got down and sat on the ground without even their knowledge. And then Lord Ram remained alone on his throne. And Lord Ram felt so embarrassed that I am only person sitting on the throne, everybody is on the ground. So he also left his singhasan, and he also sat in the middle of people who didn't even know that Lord Ram has come and sat amongst us, with us on the ground. They were so absorbed in the katha that was narrated that they also forgot who is next to them. Only they and the katha was going on. That's all. The only two things existed for them: they themselves and the katha. Nobody was aware of anybody else around. And Lord Ram also got fully absorbed, and tears were flowing from his eyes when he came to know this is his story. And then he realized that these two are his children. So Ram Katha is overwhelming to Lord Ram also. Please understand, it is not just overwhelming and satisfying to us. It is melting the hearts of Lord also, along with the devotees of the Lord. And one of the most contradictory situation in Lord Ram's Katha is that the Katha is full of pain, sacrifice, separation, and so many things are there. Everybody is all time apparent to be suffering only. The way Dasharath died, the way Kaikai got contaminated, the way Ram was exiled, the way Lakshman left, Sita left, the way Dasharath lied and the mothers became widows, and the way Bharat was blamed and he was all time in pain of one time being condemned by the Ayodhya Vasis that he was a part of the conspiracy, and other side he was suffering from the pain of separation from the Lord, and he had to run the kingdom. He stayed outside the kingdom, wearing tree bark, eating roots, and wearing jata, and so much staying in Parnakuti. Shatrughna Maharaj had to run the kingdom on behalf of Bharat and had no interest in that, but it was his austerity to become a kingly person, wear kingly dress and run the kingdom, although he didn't want to do anything of that. He would love to be like Bharat, wearing tree bark outside the city of Ayodhya. And then Lakshman, whole day he would be awake. He had not slept the whole 14 years. He didn't sleep, he sacrificed his sleep. And everybody is simply doing their part, but every part, when they did that part, there was so much of pain of separation of what was going on around. But the greatness of Ramayana characters is, in spite of all the odds were against them, every single thing was extremely unfavorable and painful to them, but they behaved in the most ideal way in those awkward situations. Generally, in awkward situations, we tend to go out of our boundaries and make mistakes, and don't follow etiquettes, and we are also expected to be forgiven because we are in the height of emotions and in awkward situations, in unpleasant, unfavorable conditions. So we are expected to behave abnormally. But in the most unfavorable situations, every character of Ramayana behaved in the most ideal way. That is the glory of Ramayana. And another contradictory point is, one point is that ideal behavior in the most awkward situation. And second is, when we hear this so much painful story of Lord Ram, of suffering and so-called forest and vanvas and exile, when we hear it, we become completely peaceful and blissful. Yes, even though we shed tears when Ram is getting exiled or Sita is getting abducted, but it is giving something unexplainable, deep spiritual satisfaction by hearing Lord Ram. Shrita Ramacharita Ati Pavan. Even though it's so full of pain, it is Pavan. It is simply purifying the existence of human life, taking away all the fears and giving so much pleasure to the heart. Such is the beauty of Lord Ram. Now the glory of Lord Ram's name. I've got so many stories here, but I don't know. I can tell you or not tell you. Time is doesn't matter. But as our program of EKΑΔAŞީ is meant to glorify the holy name and chant the holy name, inundate the world with the sound vibration of the holy name. So there are many stories about Lord Ram's holy name, and all of you know that how Lord Ram's name was written on the rocks, and they were thrown in the ocean, and they all floated. And then Lord Ram himself thought, I will also put some stone. So he thought, I am Lord Ram myself, so why should I write my name? So without writing his own name, he put the rock in the ocean, and that rock sank in the water of the ocean. And then Lord Ram only asked Hanuman, what is the mystery? My name you wrote and every stone is floating. And I myself, whose name is Lord Ram, or Ram, and I throw the stone and the stone is sinking. How is this? So Hanumanji answered that whoever you drop, he has to sink. Whoever you leave, I mean, you disown and leave him or leave it, that has to get lost or sunk in the ocean of misery. But whoever adores himself with your holy name, even though given up, it will float in the ocean of birth and death and ocean of material world, Bhavasagara. So Lord Ram exhibited that although I am Lord Ram, still my name is more powerful than myself. That Lord Ram exhibited himself. And another time, one story, there was a famous righteous king who was a kind of very he would revere Narad Muni very much. So one time he met Narad Muni and he asked Narad Muni, he tell me whether Lord Ram is big or Lord Ram's name is big. Or he asked, which is more powerful, Lord Ram or his name? So Narad Muni said, Array, don't ask this question now. I'm in a hurry to go to an assembly of saintly people, and all the great sages of the whole world are coming on the mountain under which we are standing over here. So you also come and attend the ceremony and association of the great saintly people. Offer pranams to all the saintly people except Vishwamitra. Because Vishwamitra is a born Kshatriya and then turned into Brahmanas, and all other are born Brahmanas and are ascetics. So you don't need to offer pranams to Vishwamitra Muni. So as obedient he was, he went to the assembly of sadhus and he offered pranams to each and every saintly personality. And when it came to Vishwamitra, he just looked at him and passed and went ahead to the next sadhu. So Vishwamitra felt very embarrassed. He didn't say anything there, but he really felt it. So after the whole satsang was over, Vishwamitra went to Lord Ram. He was very upset that time. He was appearing very angry also. So he met Lakshman, who was on the door. So Lakshman saw that Vishwamitra looks very angry. So he asked, what is the matter? Because my brother Lord Ram is sleeping right now. He's taking rest. He said, no, he cannot take rest. He has to be woken up. He has to be awake now to listen to me. Because the future of Ayodhya is very bleak. So what is it? Just tell me, I can solve. No, I need to meet and tell Lord Ram only. So Lakshman had to go and wake up Lord Ram and told Vishwamitra Muni has come to meet you. So immediately Lord Ram woke up and said, yes, my Lord. He welcomed him, worshipped him and asked him, what can I do for you? He said, Lord Ram, your kingdom is going to go into ruins very soon. People are losing etiquettes. What happened? So he explained the story that in the sadhu assembly, this king, I forgot his name, this king which is subordinate to you in your worldly kingdom, in your kingdom of the whole world, he is one of the kings under you and he did not offer pranams to me. It's not important that he didn't offer to me, but I am in a sadhu dress. And if he does not offer, your king doesn't offer pranams to a sadhu in your kingdom, that means your kingdom is not having bright future. So Lord Ram got very angry. He said, yes, so much audacity of that king. I promise you that I will kill him. He doesn't seem to be having any more reason to live. He has to be killed, and his killing will establish the etiquette very properly, that he was killed because he disrespected a sadhu by not offering him his due respects. So then he asked, where is he? So Vishwamitra said, come, I will take you. So Vishwamitra brought him, and the announcement was immediately spread everywhere that Lord Ram is coming with his bow and arrow to kill that king. And he went running to Narad Muni and asked Narad Muni, Maharaj, see, whatever you said is a big disaster for me now. You told me not to offer pranams. Now he went and complained to Lord Ram, and Lord Ram is coming to kill me with his arrow, and his arrow never goes in vain. Narad Muni said, just go in the nearby mountain and meet Anjani Mata, who is a great tapaswini, and you take shelter of her, and ask her to protect you from Lord Ram's band. But don't tell her exactly what are you asking protection from. That means you tell her, please give shelter to me, my life is in danger. So he went in the nearby mountain where Anjani Mata was a great tapaswini and she was doing tapasya over there. And he went to the cave and said, Mother, please save me, my life is in danger, please protect me. So he said, sure, come and hide yourself in my cave. So he went inside the cave and hid himself. And every evening and morning, Hanuman would come to pay respect to his mother. to ask any service is there. So as in the morning he would come and pay respects and ask, and in the evening again he would come and pay respects. So in the evening when he came, Hanumanji, to pay respects to his mother, she said, I have one service for you. So what service? There is one king inside who is whose life is in danger. Please save him. It's my order to you. So Hanuman said, yes, if it is the order, I have to protect him. So he called the king out and asked, how your life is in danger? So he narrated the whole story, and he came to know that he is now going to be killed by Ramban. Lord Ram is going to come to kill him. So Hanuman became very perplexed. He said that my worshipable Lord Ram, if he wants to kill you with his ban, with his arrow, how can I protect you? But as I have given my word to protect you to my mother, I have to do something for you. Please come with me. So he took, and he was already trembling because Lord Ram was coming closer. So Hanuman took him to a forest and said, now sit down here and chant Lord Ram's name. And Hanuman had nothing else to do, but he also was very fearful that how would I keep my word that my mother has given to this particular king? And how will I save him from my Lord's arrow? It's impossible. So he only took shelter of Lord Ram's name, and he started chanting the Lord Ram's name loudly. And behind was chanting, the king was also chanting loudly. And Lord Ram came in front and made the arrow aimed at this king. But Hanumanji came in between, and the arrow was shot. And it went and touched the chest of Hanumanji. And Lord Ram almost fainted himself, holding his chest. So he was wondering what happened. So then Lord Ram only explained that because I am in his heart, I am only hurt. So when this was happening, Vishwamitra Muni also came there because he brought him to that situation. So when this discussion was going on, how Lord Ram got hurt and how the arrow went and how Hanumanji was in the heart of Lord Ram, so the arrow has to go and hit him only himself, who is in the heart of Lord Ram. Hanumanji took chance and told, because as soon as Lord Ram came and stretched his arrow, the king out of fear forgot to chant his name. The name would not come out of his mouth only. He was so scared. So Hanuman said, hey, you chant. He said, no, I'm so scared. He said, no, just right now go and offer Dandavat Pranam to Vishwamitra Muni. And Narad Muni also came there. And they were watching the Leela. And that time, immediately took the opportunity of the gap in between and went and fell at the feet of Vishwamitra Muni and asked for forgiveness. So then Vishwamitra cooled down. And Vishwamitra said, okay, I am now fine. I don't want this guy to be killed. So you don't kill him. There's some other angle to the story also. Initially, Lord Ram was trying to shoot an arrow and it was not going near Hanuman also. Because there was a big kavacha, a circular protective cover, which was covering Hanumanji by the power of the holy name. So Lord Ram's arrow is invincible, but Lord Ram's arrow was not able to break the kavach of his own name, because his own name is powerful than his arrow. His own name is much more powerful than his own arrow. So then when Vishwamitra Muni was cooled down and pacified, he told Ram not to kill him. And then finally, Vishwamitra Muni only asked, who was your guru? Who instructed you not to offer pranams to me? From where you learned this? So he said, my guru is standing next to me, Narad Muni. He only told me not to offer Dandavat Pranam to you. So Vishwamitra Muni was so surprised. Oh Narada, how can you instruct a disciple like this? So he said, I was bored all over the world. Wherever I went, people kept on always asking me whether Ram is great or Lord Ram's name is great. So I thought this time I should exhibit the glory of Lord's name by doing something. So I did this so-called mischievous act to prove to the whole world, now forever, nobody will ask me again whether Lord Ram is bigger or Lord Ram's name is bigger. Now it is established beyond doubt that Lord Ram's name is much more powerful than Lord Ram himself. And there are such many stories, many stories like this. So another story is there when one person was, told by Narad Muni to chant the holy name of Lord Ram. And the fellow was a businessman, very much, into Vanijya, into money making, very attached. He said, "No, Maharaja, I don't have time. I'm so busy. I don't get time to do all these things. I'm so busy." So he said, "But you should chant the holy name of the Lord." No, Maharaj, I don't get time. I'm so busy. So he said, "Do you go to pass stool in the toilet?" He says, "Yes." So when you are doing the business in toilet, your mouth is free, right? You are also free while you are doing the business. So why don't you use that time to chant Lord Ram's name? So the businessman also, yeah, this is a good logic actually, because I don't do anything with my mouth and my ears. So I can use my mouth and ears to chant and hear the holy name of the Lord. That's quite logical and quite practical. So he started chanting the holy name every day while passing stool in the morning. So one time he was chanting the holy name while passing stool. Hanumanji happened to be passing by. So he was very attracted, very happy to hear the name of Lord Ram. So he went in the direction of the name and he found this man passing stool. So he was so angry that you are chanting the Lord Ram's name while passing the stool. So he slapped him tightly in great anger. "You rascal, you chant the holy name while passing stool. Such an inauspicious place, an ugly place like this, you insulting the name of the Lord Ram." That person got bewildered, Narad Muni tells me to chant the holy name. Hanumanji, devotee of the Lord Ram, slaps me. And it was really, he hit him very hard, Hanumanji's slap is what? And Hanumanji was anyway going to Lord Ram to meet him and attend to him in Darbar. So after slapping him, Hanumanji went to Lord Ram. And then he saw Lord Ram is sitting like this, holding his face like this. And his face was on left side was very heavily swollen. And the eye also was like pressed up by the swelling. And the face was really swollen. Lord Ram was in deep pain. Lord Ram was unable to speak a word because of the swelling and the pain that he had. So Hanumanji was so much distressed by looking at Lord Ram in so much of pain and such a big swollen face. So he asked, "What happened?" Ram could not even tell because he was so much swollen. But finally, Lord just somehow conveyed to him that this is the condition because you slapped me. So what? I slapped you? When? How can I slap you? You're my master. You're my worshipable master. I will kill that person right away. Sorry, first of all, I'm sorry, I told him a little mistake. He said, "My devotee slapped me." He said, "Which devotee slapped you?" "I will right now kill him. I take an oath that I will kill him right now." He said, "It is you who has slapped me." He says, "How?" Then Lord Ram explained that when my devotee was, that businessman was chanting my name. While chanting my name, you slapped him, and you slapped. I am not different from my name. Hare Krishna. So Hanumanji came to know that there is no rules and regulations to chant the holy name of the Lord. Tatrar pitana niyamitana smaranina kala. There is no hard and fast rule. There is no place which is unfit to chant. There is no time unfit to chant. There is no age unfit to chant the holy name of the Lord. And Lord Ram takes any offense to the holy name to himself. So when that person was slapped, the Lord Ram took that slap on his cheek and suffered that slap. but protected his devotee. And this story also is, there are many types of the stories, many variety of the stories also. So you can understand that the holy name of the Lord is extremely powerful. Even the Lord becomes subordinate to his holy name at many, many occasions to prove that more merciful and more powerful than himself is his own holy name. Now I will tell some beautiful pastimes of the Lord Ram, which are not generally narrated. Lord Ram in Navadvip Dham. Lord Ram spent some time in Modadruma Dvipa, which is called as Mamagachi, which is also the birthplace of Vrindavan Das Thakur and the place of Vasudev Datta. And Lord Ram in Treta Yuga, much before Lord Chaitanya's arrival, he spent some time in Vanavas with Lakshman and Sita in Mamagachi, Modadruma Dvipa. And one day there's a big Kalpavruksha tree under which there was a beautiful hut where Lord Ram was staying. And that tree itself was called Modadruma. And I'll tell you later on what is the meaning of Modadruma and why it was called like that. But anyways, one day Lord Ram was sitting at the bottom of the tree and on the rock and closed eyes, smiling. So Sita Devi asked him, "My Lord, why are you smiling? I'm very eager to know why are you smiling to your own self alone." So Lord Ram said that I am remembering that I am going to come in the Kali Yuga as Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And I am going to flood the world with the holy name by dancing and chanting in ecstasy of love of Godhead. And I will make everybody devotee, demons and gentlemen as well. I will inspire them to become devotees of the Lord and give them the holy name in such a way that love of Godhead will flow from their heart and they will go mad. I will make everybody mad in the flood of the love of the holy name of the Lord. And I will take sannyas at the age of 24 and I will give up my wife and my mother, and my wife will cry in the lap of my mother in separation. Both of them will cry when I will go away. Till that time, Sita was happy to hear all the news, and when this was heard that he will make his wife cry by taking sannyas, she said, "Why? Why would you leave your wife? What is the reason? You can spread the holy name throughout the life. Why you have to take sannyas and put your wife and mother in the ocean of misery, of separation and pain?" So then Lord Ram explained to Sita the science of Swakiya and Parakiya Ras. Lord Ram explained to Sita that when you are with the Lord, there is X amount of happiness and bliss. But when a devotee goes away from the Lord in separation, whatever he feels is 1,000,000 times more than what he feels when he is with the Lord in union. And I want to teach my beloved Navadvip Vasis the science of Vipralamba, and I want them to experience what is the ecstasy, 1,000,000 times more ecstasy of separation from me rather than meeting me. So I'm not acting cruel, as you are saying. Why are you being so cruel? It is not being cruel, but I want to give them the highest gift of Vipralamba. That means even Lord Ram glorified the Vipralamba Rasa of Bhava, which he finally taught people as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very effectively. Of course, when he also left Ayodhya, people experienced Vipralamba. When Lord Krishna left Vrindavan, they also experienced Vipralamba. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the experience to the highest ecstasy, to the highest extent possible. And then Lord Ram very coolly announced that Mother Kausalya, who is my mother in Ayodhya now, will become my mother in Navadvip as Sachi Mata. And you, my dear Sita, will become Vishnupriya, my wife, who will experience the ecstasy of separation and I leave you. So then Sita said, I want to see that form. please. So Lord Ram said, close your eyes. When she closed his eyes, Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu appeared in his mind, in her mind, dancing in ecstasy, completely madness of the love of Godhead, completely intoxicated. Lord Gauranga was dancing, and that too was not the shaved up Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was the Navadvip Gauranga Mahaprabhu, not the Sannyasa Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after he left Navadvip. So that beautiful cascading hair, lotus-like eyes, and the Grahastha appearance and the ecstasy. Sita fell down in ecstasy, unconscious. Lord Ram woke her up and said, soon I will be coming in this form, in this coming Kali Yuga. So Sita was very much happy. She experienced the ecstasy of the chanting of the holy name of Lord Gauranga, which was not happening that time, but was going to happen. She had a glimpse of that. And then Lord Ram and Sita and Lakshman continued to stay there for some time. And then many people who were that time in Navadvip in Treta Yuga, they all used to come and meet him. And whoever would meet him under that tree, they all became fearless and they became joyful. That is why Thakur Bhaktivinoda explains that this tree was called Moda Druma, the tree that gave happiness, Moda. Moda Druma, the Druma that gave Moda. That is the tree that gave happiness. And Lord Ram said that this tree will disappear, the hut will disappear as I will leave from this place. But this tree will remain in Adrushya form, in invisible form. And whoever pure devotee will come, he will have the revelation of this tree and the hut. And then Lord Ram from there went to Jagannath Puri from the next destination. And later on, Thakur Bhaktivinoda came to this place. Before that, I'll tell one more story to you. King Guha, the King Guhaka was a real devotee of the Lord Nishad Raj Guha. He took birth as Sadananda Vipra in Navadvip Leela. And he was present somehow. Sadananda Vipra Bhattacharya was present when Lord Nimai, Gauranga, took birth. And when he saw the baby form under the tree in the lap of Mother Sachi Mata, he went in complete ecstasy and he had a deep feeling in the heart. He is my Lord Ram. He is my Lord Ram. So he was not unable to contain the ecstasy and he was not able to understand the mystery. What is it? So he went back home and on his altar were Ram, Lakshman and Sita. And he went and prayed and he saw and he prayed and he asked, what is the mystery behind this? And he, in the ecstasy of appearance of Lord Gauranga and in the ecstasy of seeing his own deities, he fell unconscious. And when he fell unconscious, Lord Ram came to his dream and in front of his eyes, Lord Ram, his worshipable Lord, turned into Gauranga. And after some time, the Gauranga Lord Gauranga turned into Lord Ram. And this way, Lord Ram told him, I am not different. I am the same person who has appeared now in Navadvip as Gauranga at the house of Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata. So he woke up from his dream. He was in another ecstasy. He went running to the home of Jagannath Mishra. But before leaving, before getting the dream over, Lord Ramchandra told him that whatever you saw, you are not going to tell anybody. It's a confidential secret. If you reveal, you will suffer like anything. It will be disobedience. I will be displeased. So he went and saw the child, Gauranga, and he saw the child Gauranga turning into Lord Ram, baby Ram, again to Lord Gauranga. But he was so much in eagerness to tell the secret to everybody, but he could not tell. He stayed there only, but he could not tell. Every day he observed Gauranga, his worshipful Lord Ram, but he could not tell the secret. Like the Brahmana, who also was told by Gopal, don't tell the secret what you saw. So he also stayed in front of Jagannath Mishra's house, but he also could not tell anybody whole life. But when Sadananda Vipra was on his deathbed, he revealed this secret to Ishan Thakur. Ishan Thakur was the associate of Bansivadan Thakur. And both this Ishan and Bansivadan Thakur, they were the associates and servants of Vishnupriya Devi when Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu left. They were the caretakers of Vishnupriya Devi, and before of Sachimata also. And Sachimata died, and then they were taking care of Vishnu Priya Devi. So this is the narration given by Ishan Thakur to Srinivas Acharya, who came to Navadvip to take darshan. And that time Ishan Thakur was giving him darshans, yatra of Navadvip. That time this Mudadruma, he took him to Mudadruma and told this story, that how Lord Ramchandra was here. And later on, Bhaktivinoda Thakur visited this place. And when he went there, he had darshan of that tree and the hut. And Lord Ramchandra, Lakshman and Sita, they gave darshan to Thakur Bhaktivinoda in Mudadrumadeepa. And Thakur Bhaktivinoda, having darshan of Lord Ram and Sita and Lakshman, went in total ecstasy and fell unconscious. And went in ecstasy for a long time. So finally Lakshman had to come from the darshan and went and very lovingly touched him and caressed him and told him, "Wake up, Bhaktivinoda, wake up." And he woke up and he said, in our kingdom, while we are in exile over here, we have no wealth or no resources. We only eat fruits and roots. So he brought some fruits and roots and he presented to Bhaktivinoda, "Please have it as our prasad." And they disappeared. Then Thakur Bhaktivinoda, in a great ecstasy, ate those fruits in complete gratitude and ecstasy of love of Godhead. So there are many such loving pastimes of Lord Ram. Last one in short, I'll tell you. In Jagannath Puri, when the Lord went, again he was sitting one day and smiling. And that was not in the exile time, but at different times. Exile time, he went to Jagannath Puri also, and he established Rameshwar Mahadev there and worshipped him in Jagannath Puri. That became Rameshwar Dham, that is there in Jagannath Puri. And afterwards, he had come with Lakshman, Sita, and Hanuman and everybody to Jagannath Puri one time. And he was sitting and smiling one day. Sita asked, "Please tell me, what is the secret of your smile?" Sorry, Sita asked, what would you come as in the next incarnation? So then he said, "You're smiling." And a cowherd boy passed with a lot of cows next to him and he was smiling. He said, "Please tell my Lord, who are you going to become next time?" He said, "In next life, I will become a cowherd boy. Because you asked the question to me and a cowherd boy passed with cows, I smiled. That you asked and the same cowherd boy, what I am going to become next life, was passing by." So Sita became very curious and very happy to know this. And she became very eager. "My Lord, I want to see that form. How would you be herding cows? How would you look as a cowherd boy?" So he told Hanumanji, "Go and bring a Kanta stone from Chitrakoot." Hanuman just jumped to Chitrakoot, and that Kamatgiri is there. From there he picked up on Kanta Shila and immediately came back with Kanta Shila, and with the arrow Lord Ram carved the deity of Gopinath, and that is what is our Kshirachora Gopinath. That time was not Kshirachora. He became Kshirachora in Kali Yuga when Madhavendra Puri came. But that deity which Lord Ram carved himself is the same deity of Gopinath which Lord Ram established in Remuna. And there's one more Mahadev there called Baneshwar Mahadev, because Banasur worshipped Lord Shiva over there. That became Baneshwar Mahadev, and that place Lord Ramachandra established the deity of Gopinath, which later on became famous as Kshirachora Gopinath. Bolo Prabhu Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai ho. I've taken some more time, please excuse me. But Lord Ram glories are so beautiful that we can go on speaking and go on speaking and go on speaking. So thank you very much. I'm grateful for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
His Holiness Loknath Maharaj, the lotus feet of Sripad Radhanath Maharaj, and to all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, and also to our Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet, and to Guru Parampara, all the way to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and all the way to Sri Radha Krishna. And Shri Ram, EKÀDAŞީ Devi, was very, very auspicious day. So we're going to chant just few minutes. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Gurudeva Jaya Bhagavati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sita Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sitaram Jaya Sitaram 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 Jaya Sitaram Sitaram Jaya Hanuman Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Jaya Lakshmana Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamhayam Dadati Shapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathannitam Tam Saji Sadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschat Deshotari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vidya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. First of all, I like to offer my grateful attitude to the host, Sripad Loknath Goswami Maharaj and his entire crew, especially Govinda Charan Prabhu and the whole team, for organizing such a wonderful, the best welfare, beneficial work for all the soul in this age. As Srila Prabhupada says that on this fasting EKÀDAŞީ, Srila Prabhupada very nicely explained this in Nectar of Devotion, chapter 7, that I'm paraphrasing, that observing EKÀDAŞÍ will free us from all kinds of reaction to sinful activities and advances in pious life. Then Prabhupada writes, the basic principle is not just to fast, but to increase one's faith and love for Krishna, Govinda. The real reason for observing fasting on EKÀDAŞÍ is to minimize the demand of the body. If you are not the body, let's put on a test today. Are you the body or not? You can check. The real reason, then Prabhupada writes, the real reason for observing fasting on EKÀDAŞÍ is to minimize the demand of the body. Very nice. Engage our time in the service of the Lord by chanting or performing similar service. The best thing to do on fasting days, especially EKÀDAŞÍ, Srila Prabhupada is stating on chapter 7, that one should remember the pastimes of Govinda and to hear his holy name constantly. So following Srila Prabhupada's sublime instruction, to please him, we have gathered here. So I feel very grateful to be here with all of you. And most of you all are senior to me, but you allow me to correct myself in your presence so that I'll be also fortunate following your all foot dust. So please pray and for me and give me some blessings. I'm begging to Sripad Loknath Maharaj and Vishwarup Prabhu, Govinda Charan Prabhu, everybody. Please pray for me and bless me so I can say something that what I heard will be effective to purify our consciousness on this EKÀDAŞÍ day. So as I was speaking to Harinam Gautam Prabhu, that Govinda Charan Prabhu, that we are going to have a few sessions. So today I'm beginning first one. It's just a brief description about Nama Tattva. But before that, I would like to say something that without Srila Prabhupada, it would be very difficult to understand the glory of holy name and purpose of life. Even the Rupa Goswami Pad gave everything, but there was something missing relevant to my life where I am today and Rupa Goswami Pad's teaching. I could not relate until I read it again and again, the preface and introduction of Nectar of Devotion. It makes so clear. So Yes, Rupa Goswami Pad is supervising the ISKCON society as Prabhupada mentioned in the beginning of the book. But at the same time, I would say Prabhupada actually connected us what Rupa Goswami Pad came to give us, the purpose of life. What is the purpose of living? His holy name is alive or dead? If you think it's the letter format, then probably dead. But holy name is live. So we are also live. We are speaking. We have a feeling. Then what is the purpose of that life? So Prabhupada writes very scientifically. He says, the basic principle, I'm paraphrasing, the basic principle of living condition is that we have a general propensity to love someone. No one can live without loving someone. That is not possible. And it's not only Prabhupada's word. I also tested with few professor and our friend here. They are outsider, not devotees, so it was easy. That yes, everybody agrees. You have to live. In order to live, you have to love someone. You have to feel loved and express your love for someone. Then Prabhupada gives a very practical view on that, that in a primary stage, a child, I saw when my child was born, within a moment, he started sucking breast milk. His world is just the mother's breast milk and him, nothing else. So the primary stage, the child loves his mother, then start loving father, then his brothers, sisters. Then as he grow up, he begins to love his family, society, community, country, nation, even the whole human society. But the loving propensity is not satisfied, even by loving all human society. That loving propensity remains imperfectly fulfilled until we know who is the Supreme Beloved is. Love can become all-embracing only when we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Beloved. Krishna is the root of all creation. By embracing him, one successfully embraces everyone. As pouring water on the root of a tree successfully nourishes every leaf and branches. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that nectar of devotion is a science, literature will teach us of loving every one of the living entities perfectly by the easy method of loving Krishna. In a morning walk, Srila Prabhupada said, without understanding this book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, nobody will understand what Krishna consciousness is. I was like very surprised to hear Prabhupada says, nobody can understand without understanding this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And I see why, from my angle of looking at it, it's so complete. Then Srila Prabhupada gives even a further details that what are the happiness in this world, whether India or America, what are the happiness that people get? What is the sense gratification? They have to understand there is a two defects in the sense gratification. Srila Prabhupada points out, one defect is that it runs out. It's never fresh. And if Prabhupada gave the name, he did not even translate. He said, Chapala Sukha and Bhoga Tega. Why people switches their pleasure-seeking place or source? Because they get tired of it. Even food, you eat pizza, you cannot eat whole life pizza. You want to have some gulab jamun or something. You want to change because it's tiring. And so they are always looking for new. And whatever they are enjoying, they have to work so hard for it. By the time they enjoy the three defects in the material existence, you are either shortage of time, or shortage of money, or shortage of health. If you have enough money, you need to go to school and start money, but you have a good health, but you don't know. When you grow up, say married man, you may have money coming in, but you don't have time. You're busy making money. And then when you are old, your health is almost finished. You have money at that time when you are old. So there's always something lacking. But spiritual world, Srila Prabhupada explains in the introduction, the spiritual happiness means it never ends. It is ever refreshed. You can eat the same pizza, same holy name, but it will have a new flavor. When you say Hare Krishna, it is not the same flavor you tasted 5 minutes back or a million years back. It's a new flavor. And the next minute you are chanting Hare Krishna, it is different flavor. You never tasted experience. This is spiritual world, the holy name. So Prabhupada explains that how one can actually get connected to this very simple way. First thing they have to do, they need to begin a sadhana bhakti, and to achieve, why? Because they are looking for that blissful, forever lasting, that love. So you need pure eternal love, but to achieve pure love, you need to awaken bhava, which is all along in your heart in a dormant state. And to awaken bhava, you need to do sadhana. So first we have a goal, we need pure love, but to become a recipient of that love, we have to awaken bhava. But to awaken bhava, we have to do sadhana. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told this to Sarvam Bhattacharya. The easiest way in this age, sadhana, is to chant Hare Krishna. So as long as we have a clear understanding why we are chanting, I'm going to rephrase, third time I'm going to repeat. We need to take full shelter of holy name to awaken our bhava. And when that bhava will be awakened, then naturally it will take us to be a recipient of prema, pure love. Then our journey will be over. Whose name we are chanting? That's the question first. Well, first we are thinking that who is the holy name? Who is Harinam Prabhu? So I'm sure you all heard that sloka very nicely. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the acharyas explain this wonderful identity of the Harinam Prabhu. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Suddha Nitya Mukta Abhinna Tat Namanamina. That the Harinam Prabhu is the holy name of Krishna. It's transcendentally blissful. It bestows all spiritual benediction. Why? Because it is Krishna himself. He is the reservoir of all pleasure. Krishna's name is complete. It is the form of all transcendental mellows. It is not a material name under any condition. It is no less powerful than Krishna himself. Since Krishna's name is not contaminated by the material qualities or modes, there is no question of its being involved with Maya. It is eternally aloof, above, beyond Maya. Krishna's name is always liberated and spiritual. It is never conditioned by the laws of material nature. Why Prabhupada repeated sometime in the translation of that. And the sloka also, it gives that indication. Because right now I'm looking the audience in the Zoom. How am I looking? With the shelter of Maya. Maya creates the perception by Sattva-gun. The senses to see the eye or to hear, ear, is a product of Rajagun. And the sense object, the computer, the body of each person, it's product of Tamagun. So three modes are playing here. Now if we can connect that this is Krishna's energy, Maya, through these three, Sattva, Raja, Tama, if I can connect with Krishna and then I have an intention to serve him with a proper devotional attitude, then it will be spiritualized and it will be purifying. Otherwise it will stay, because holy name is above the three modes. In order to connect, there has to be a devotional connection with a devotional attitude. Humility is required. The devotional service attitude also required. Now we are going to chant Hari Kirtan. What is Hari? Hari means, if someone think like what is Hari means. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained, Hari sabde nana artha dui mukkhatama sarva amangala hare premadiya hare mana. Madhya chapter 24, 59 text. That Hari, the word Hari, Harinam, the word Hari means many explanation, many meanings. But two meanings are most prominent, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. Nana artha, many meanings, but two meanings are the most prominent, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emphasized on those two meanings. What are those? Hari sabde nana artha dui mukkhatama sarva amangala hare. All inauspicious, all unwanted, anything anybody never wanted, those things will be destroyed, dissipate. This is wonderful. All the unwanted. What is that suffering in this world? In one sense, you can say suffering like birth, death, old age. Yes, that is also there. But actually, bottom line of suffering, what is the suffering? Suffering is only one thing, that what we really want, each of us, we want eternity, we want blissful. What we really want, we don't get in the material world. And what we don't want, we are being forced to go through. This is the real suffering. So here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained, Hari sabde nana artha dui mukkhatama sarva amangala hare. The word Hari, Hari, just by saying Hari, 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 all those unwanted things will disappear. Now you may say, Prabhu, we are saying Hari, 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 but I don't see that all the inauspicious thing gone. Well, who is perceiving? Is the body perceiving or the mind is perceiving? Who is perceiving that name, Hari? Who is uttering it? This is important. It is neither, not the mind, not the body. It should be the soul who has that devotional attitude. If the soul has a devotional attitude and soul actually with humility try to chant this Hari name, yes, you will experience this. Now question is, how do we come to that? Well, first of all, you remember how Arjuna was bewildered in Bhagavad Gita, and he asked Krishna, should I become a Kshatriya who will protect the Kshatriya dharma, means killing the aggressors? They are here in the battlefield. This is before the battle began. Even the Arjuna blown the conch shell. Can you imagine you are in Mayapur and they are blown the conch shell, Pujari, and he is about to open the Gaur Purnima day, the altar of Panchatattva. There's thousands of devotees are ready. Then all of a sudden, he's never opening the curtain. He came down from the altar. He's talking to a stranger who is not participating to have darshan. And time passes by, you will be wondering why Pujari is talking to, who is this man? Arjuna is talking to someone who is not participating in the war. That is Krishna. Krishna says, I'm not going to join in the war. So Krishna is not joining in the war, yet Arjuna blown the conch shell, but Arjuna is spending time on talking with Krishna and he's not ready to fight. Everybody else was surprised also. So there Arjuna says, so I have a question, why I'm bewildered. There are many questions, 16 questions total asked in Bhagavad Gita and 574 verses spoken by Krishna just to answer those 16 questions. So very interestingly, one question was asked by Arjuna, that am I supposed to act? I was born as a Kshatriya, should I kill those aggressor who has joined? Or you are addressing me again and again, I am a son of Kunti. Even in that sloka, two identity of Arjuna. You're saying I'm the descendant of Bharata, I'm the descendant of Kuru dynasty, so I should protect all this family man. Should I protect the family man or should I kill the aggressor? Anybody knows what Krishna answered? He said, none of this. You don't act as a Kshatriya, you don't act as a Kurunandana, even though I address both. Then he gave the answer on the next verse in Bhagavad Gita. Dehinosmin jata dehe komaram jovanam jara. Arjuna, you are neither Kshatriya nor descendant of Kshatriya. You are soul, belong to the super soul, me. So when we chant, we have to come to this identity called fundamental identity. When we chant, we have to serve as a servant. Then you will experience this result. And if you don't have a faith, you will going to commit offense, arthabad. So we have to chant the holy name suggested here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as a fundamental identity. So what about the other two identity we have, Arjuna had? Those are functional identity. I am a grihastha. I am a man. I am a woman. I am Mataji. I am Prabhuji. I am this, that, so many identity. But those are not fundamental identity. The chanter should be fundamental identity. Those are functional identity. functional identity should be under fundamental identity. Then our chanting will definitely take us to the result that promises. Time is ticking too. Very quick. So on the Namatattva, this is my first day. We are going to do few series, 4 to 5 classes on Namatattva. But today, just to give some brief idea, question may arise why Krishna's name is the only most recommended name. Why not other names? There are few reasons. One reason is in Bhagavatam, there are 4 things explained. One is that Munaya sadhu prishtavam bhavadvi lokomangalam jat krita Krishna samprasna jayatma suprasiddhati. Krishna is such a personality, such a wonderful name that just by any question, any related or relevant or any name related to that Krishna, the inquirer and the person who give the answer or the chanter, hearer, it will completely satisfy them. Jayatma suprasiddhati. Why? Because it pleases the Lord also. So the Lord will be pleased and the person who chant will be also completely satisfied. Then Jiva Goswami Pad says very unique things. He said, Bhajaniya sarva sadguna visishta. Why we should chant Krishna's name? He says, Krishna's qualities are so attractive, so enchanting, so endearing, so incredibly inspiring that even a demon, even a non-believer, if they could actually see this, they will immediately surrender, become a slave to that name of Krishna. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Harinam Chintamani, I'm just giving you a little glimpse how sweetly he explained. What is this holy name? He says, Nama Mahima, Smriti Kahe, Helaya Sraddhaya Namalay, Krishna Tare Kripa Kori, Hayena Sadai, Namera Sadrisha Gen, Nahiko Nirmal, Namera Sadrisha Brata, Nahiko Prabal, Namera Sadrisha Dhyan, Nahito Jagate, Namera Sadrisha Fall, Nahikun Mate, Namera Sadrisha Te, Konorupa Harai, Namera Sadrisha Sama, Kobu Nahi Hai, Namera Sadrisha Punna Nahi Hai, Sangsare, Namera Sadrisha Goti Nadekhi Vitare. The translation, I'm just going to paraphrase because this is my language, those beautiful poetic format. This is coming from Rupa Goswami Pad's Shikshastakam, actually following Shikshastakam. The Smritis, Puranas glorify the holy name of Krishna, stating that if one should chant the name either in negligence or in faith, Krishna will show that person great mercy. Now, please remember, there is no knowledge as pure as the holy name. This is second. Third, there is no vow as powerful as the holy name. Fourth, there is no meditation more effective than the holy name. 5, nor is there any fruit greater than attained by the name. 6, there is no greater renunciation than the name. Now, some of the Prabhus and mothers will think, well, why we don't need renunciation. We are talking about Krishna Prem and all that. Why renunciation? Renunciation is everybody is needed. What is the renunciation? the impression that you have accumulated in this material world. What impression you got? Birth, death, old age, disease, crematory, that's all. You have to let go. Everybody has to let go. Then the next result, there is no greater peace than the holy name. Number 8, in this world, there is no greater pious activity than taking the name. Number 9, nor is there any quicker progress. If you think by worshipping deity or by doing some other devotional process, you will get quickly, impossible. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says only holy name is the quickest. The name, holy name, is the highest liberation. Holy name is the highest freedom. Holy name is the highest destination. Holy name is the highest peace. Holy name is the point of no more searching. Once you get the taste of holy name, you will not search anything else. You will not even go anywhere. Of course, your journey will be within, inside, not outside. The holy name is the highest devotion. The holy name is the purest inclination of each living entity. The holy name is the highest love. Holy name is the direct remembrance of the Lord. The holy name is the cause of all causes. The holy name is the supreme Lord. The holy name is the most worshipable. The holy name is a form of Guru to bring one to the Lord. It is stated that 1,000 Vishnu's name equal to 1 Ram name, and 3 Ram name or 3,000 Vishnu's name equal to 1 name of Krishna. The Vedas says that the holy name is purely spiritual, and thus they constantly glorify the name. This is wonderful, isn't it? Am I missing anything? No. There's nothing you can think that is holy name is not going to give. Now you may say, well, Prabhu, I don't experience when I'm chanting. Well, first of all, you have to situate yourself as a fundamental identity with their devotional attitude, not a functional identity. I'm not a brahmachari, sannyasi, or grihastha, or this, that. Those are functional. Those are important. But they have to come under fundamental identity. I'm a servant of Srila Prabhupada, who is a servant of eternal spiritual master, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like this. These are called fundamental identity. And the devotional attitude with humility is the key to start chanting. And when we keep on chanting, repeating, Vedanta Sutra, I was reading Vedanta Sutra, one part it says, because our fallen condition, once chant one name is not enough. Even though holy name says that one chanting will destroy enough sin that you cannot even accumulate in an entire journey of material world. That is true. But what name we are talking? It is not Nama Parad or Nama Bhas. It's pure name. Yes, Nama Bhas will destroy. But Nama Bhas' destination is the border of Vaikuntha, not in Vaikuntha. Nama Bhas will never take you to Vaikuntha, Bhaktivinoda Thakur boldly declared. It will take up to the border. You know, border? You still need a visa to go in to that domain, spiritual domain. Means Nama Bhas chanting will liberate you, but you cannot enter into the spiritual domain without pure name. Because our consciousness is impure, although process is pure, perfect, so it is not as effective. So we need to repeat, keep on repeating, keep on serving the holy name, keep on serving enthusiastically. And if you can put some feeling with it, some love, then instantly you're going to get. Sometimes we have chanting driven by fear, but until the pure stage, we must remind Krishna and his name are one. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur also writes that pure name, one day we'll discuss more because of the time. Today, one definition of pure name. What is pure name? Pure name means which is devoid of nama parad, namabhas, and bevadhan. Three things. Pure name means devoid of those three. So it is not an automatic, it is a intentional. You have to make commitment and effort with consciously aware that you are servant serving to the master under Guru's guidance. This is required. Because the attitude will decide our real progress. Very important. Prabhupada said that. Our attitude will decide our real progress, our real design of life. Our fulfillment comes always from the inner side. If one can catch up that thread, then he can go and get things of that higher spiritual quality. We may appreciate the beautiful figure, style, movement, and intellectual delivery of the spiritual master, Prabhupada. So many other things may be appreciable. But what should be the highest focal point for our realization? What should be our highest aim for which we will eliminate everything else? This is important. Progress means, please remember, progress means, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, elimination and acceptance. Our spiritual life must be always a dynamic thing. Otherwise, we shall be dead. Progress means acceptance in elimination. Scientists also say, I have a friend here, he mentioned that in the theory of natural selection, survival of the fittest, isn't? Even Gorachan knows. In the school they teach. Nature is selecting some and eliminating others. Life is a dynamic. We all are dynamic. Soul means dynamic. Holy name is life. It's not dead word. Soul is not dead either. We are live. We are living in a dynamic world when we chant. Everywhere we find acceptance and elimination. That is progress. And our life must be progressive, not static. Now, next session we'll discuss about the selection of pure name and secondary name and all these topics. Today I wanted to also mention, because when I came little early, Vishnu Prabhu was very nicely explaining about Ram Katha, Ram Lila, and I'll tell a Ram Lila. I don't know if you heard that Ram Lila. It is not in Ramayana. I don't know which Shastra it is, but Prabhupada says this. And Prabhupada is our authority, same as Shastra, no doubt, but he didn't say which Shastra it was from. So I'll mention that too. So before I end, the main four things we should remember. What is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching? First, he says four things. Everybody can remember. Prabhupada quote that verse. Aradha Bhagavan Brajesha Tanaya Tadhama Brindavanam Ramma Kachi Dupasana Brajabadhu Varigenaya Kalpita. First, the goal. Always you should have your forehead, you seeing it. Your goal is pure love of God. Second, object of love. Who is the object of love? Brajananandan Sri Krishna, who lives in Vrindavan, not Krishna in Mathura or Dwarka or somewhere else. Krishna in Vrindavan. Very particularly in that verse. And Prabhupada even said that verse, even though we see this was spoken by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur or Srinath Chakravarti, but Prabhupada said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. So we take it, okay, Mahaprabhu said this verse. Because Prabhupada said that. So fourth thing, first is goal, pure love of Godhead. Second is object of love, Sri Krishna who reside in Vrindavan, not Krishna who left from Vrindavan. Third, the shining example of that love are the gopis of Vrindavan. Fourth, the guidelines of developing that love is Srimad Bhagavatam. And what Srimad Bhagavatam explains in 18,000 verses ended with Nama Sankirtanam Jasya Sarva Papa Pranasanam Pranama Dukkha Samannas Tam Namami Harim Param. Glorify about the holy name. Glorify holy name. So those who have taken shelter of the holy name, they are the most fortunate. What is the nature of Krishna consciousness? This world has Christianity, Islam or others. All other conception of theism have to retire, leaving the field to Krishna conception. So I end with this, that no aggressor can stand in the fight with Krishna consciousness. The absolute, sweet beauty, sweetness, mercy, affection, divine love. That's all what it is. Self-dissipation to compensate others with one's own energy, generosity ultimately conquers everyone. It is more rewarding to give than to take divine love. Means die to live. Not to live for yourself, but to live for others. The most generous form of life, self-forgetfulness to the extreme, is found in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching, or Prabhupada call it Krishna consciousness. Krishna, so the ending sentence is Krishna consciousness is so beautiful that one who develops it loses his own identification and existence also. He becomes totally self-forgetful. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote a whole song. Maybe next session we'll sing that song. It's a beautiful song. What will holy name do to you? Such a charm is there. Who will stand to fight against Krishna? Everyone who comes to fight against him is disarmed. If in any way Krishna enters the heart of each of us, there can be no other consequence but that he takes possession of everything. Such a benevolent, generous, and sweet person is Krishna. Reality, the beautiful. That is Krishna. Next session also we'll discuss when we chant. Is the chanting means the Krishna from inside coming out, or the holy name outside going in? So I'll end with these 4 points, and I'll mention this one story because of the time sensitive. And maybe some of you heard it. I'm sure Sripad Loknath Maharaj knows that. This is in the memory tape of Tripurari Maharaj. So Srila Prabhupada went in the Vaikuntha garden, Ranganath temple in Vrindavan, morning walk. As Prabhupada was walking, there was a Ram Bhakta on the other side. And Ram Bhakta, you know, they chant Sitaram, 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 and they chant whole day on the beat, some kind of. just like we chant. So as Prabhupada was walking by, he was crossing, so Prabhupada stopped him. He said, Hare Krishna. And this gentleman, Ram Bhakta, says, Ram Ram. And Prabhupada laughed and he kept on walking. And when he went other side, and then again they meet, and Prabhupada again stopped him. He said, Hare Krishna. And this Ram Bhakta said, Ram Ram. Then Prabhupada said, very interesting pastime, I never heard. He said, after Lord Krishna, when Radharani left from the Ras Leela, she came because she went away. She wanted to establish Krishna's highest happiness, that if everything goes through her, because she is the one who knows how to serve Krishna, please him completely. But the Ras Leela, everybody joined, but they have no idea that Radharani's position yet, fully. Only few. Like we Gauriya, we appreciate, we understand by the mercy of divine personalities, the position of Srimati Radhika. Say dware, no, what is this? Say prema dware Radha ek, say prema dware Shri Radhika ekali amar madhurjo asade sakali. Chaitanya Charitamrita chapter 4 explains that Krishna Chandra Bhagavan came to taste three things. One was, the second point was that the sweetness in him that she tasting through her love. All Krishna's sweetness, his beauty, his prema madhuri, rupa madhuri, lila madhuri, the sweetness of his loving relationship, his love, his beautiful form and the flute, all these things actually tasted. Guess who? Only one person, Srimati Radharani. And all those unlimited, you can say, gopis and the manjaris, how they get it? Through her. Do they know it? No. On the Sarat Ras Leela, everybody joined from Alachua, I mean, those who are qualified. From New Orleans, I see some New Orleans devotee there. From wherever in the world, they can join, but they have to come to acceptance of Srimati Radharani's glorious position. So that's why Radharani left. So Krishna also left. So they followed the gopis. They saw two footprints. Then they saw there's two sets of footprints. First was one, then two sets. Then they saw again once. So they thought, wow, who is this girl? The Brajendra Nandan left all of us just for her. She must be the most glorious. They worship Krishna. So they are very curious, everybody is searching. Srila Prabhupada says, when Krishna was with Srimati Radharani alone in that Kammaban, he sat down with Srimati Radharani. Guess who came there? Lord Ramachandra. With Arati tray. I guess Lord Ramachandra knew it, or I don't know how the Arati tray came. And Lord Ramachandra worshipped Radha Krishna. And Prabhupada says, yes, that part people don't know. The Shastra says that the Radha Krishna is the object of Lord Ram's Ishtadev. Lord Ram also worshipped who? Not to himself. When Krishna meditated, he meditated on himself. In Dwarka, Krishna meditated every day. We know. Bhagavatam says us. But when Ram meditated, he doesn't meditate on him. He meditated on Radha Krishna. This is the most confidential. So unless we glorify Radha Krishna, Lord Ram will not be happy by hearing his own Leela only. But when we glorify Radha Krishna, even Lord Ram is very happy. Because that's his object of worship. So I'll end here. If any question or reflection or comment or anything. We have 2 minutes. Is that okay, Prabhu? Govinda Charan Prabhu?
Absolutely, please. If the participants have any questions for us, they're most welcome to do so. You can either send a message on the chat or you could unmute and speak as well. But at the onset, it was an absolutely powerful session. My apologies, I had to step out in between, just coordinating a few things in the back end.
That's okay. So you will please let me know when is the next session for me. So I'll maybe ahead, I'll let them know. Some devotees, so they can just keep following them.
Absolutely. We could either keep it at the same time if you feel this is more comfortable for you, or we can shift it a little, maybe by an hour before or after, whichever works good for you. So we can discuss that.
We'll discuss that.
For sure. Yeah. But this is a very, very interesting pastime.
Thank you.
I haven't heard that. Wow. That's beautiful. Thank you. And definitely remember those 4 points at the end that you mentioned.
Thank you so much.
Srila Prabhupada explains again, Aihistam yatat punarjanma jayaya. So Srila Prabhupada says that how one should greet a devotee. So this means, is everything well in your endeavor to conquer the repetition of birth and death? So in this way, today we are going to be doing some kirtan, and we're going to be speaking about two main topics. And I find that these are the two most important topics in our Krishna consciousness. And the first topic is going to be, we are commemorating this year the 125th anniversary of the appearance of Srila Prabhupada. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about that, glorifying Srila Prabhupada in this anniversary. And the second topic is going to be, well, the other most important topic, which is the glories of the holy name. And we're going to do some meditations and some analysis about this. So, before we start, also, I want to offer this Kirtan session for the soon recovery of several devotees. I have the names here. First of all, for our dear Pankajangri Prabhu, who is battling there in that hospital in Kolkata, and also Sadbhuja Prabhu, who is in the same place. Also, I want to dedicate this for. Just a second. Oh, just a second. No audio. Let's check. You can't hear anything?
No.
Wow, so what do I do?
Can you just check if your mic is engaged in any
Yes.
other software, any other application?
Yes, the mic is correct. Let
Is
me.
it engaged in any other program?
Well, let me check something. System preferences. This is how we usually do it. No sound. No. Is there any way here that I can test?
Well, we can definitely tell you if the sound comes up. Why don't you exit from this broadcast and try one
Just
more
a second. Hare Krishna. What about now? Hare Krishna. Can you hear it now?
Check. Because I'm on the same device.
Okay.
So,
Hare Krishna.
I think Nitya Kishore would have replied, so she can share as well.
Okay, can somebody confirm that we have audio? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Apparently.
Okay, I'm going to drop out of this WhatsApp call so I can check with you. Yeah?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Check in the sound. Okay, well, no audio. Let me try to do it again. Hare Krishna. Okay? So, let's see if we have sound now. Mm. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, can you Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Is it good now? Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Is the sound better now? Oh my God. This software, I don't know what to do. Mono. I don't know how to fix this. Hare Krishna. What about now? Is that better? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Getting better. What about now? Well, Hare Krishna. Haribol, Prabhu, what's going on?
Yeah, just that last thing that you changed now, just go back to the previous one. The previous one was nice and loud.
Okay, right now, this?
I'll have to hang up again to check.
Okay, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Okay, thank you very much for the feedback. So, Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas. I'm sorry for this technical problem, and welcome to this Kirtan and Katha session. First of all, I would like to wish all of you a happy EKΑDAŞީ. Today is a very auspicious day for doing this type of activities, Katha and Kirtan. And I will start with this quote, okay? Aihistam yatat punarjanma jayaya. So this quote appears in the purport of the text 15, chapter 10 of the 5th canto, where Srila Prabhupada tells the pastime when Vishwamitra Muni came to visit Dasaraj Maharaj to ask him for his sons to go and kill some demons in the forest. So the way Dasaraj greeted Vishwamitra Muni is by saying these words. I will say them again. Aihistam yatat punarjanma jayaya. And Srila Prabhupada says that this is the right way in which we should greet other devotees. And the translation of this is, Is everything well in your endeavor to conquer the repetition of birth and death? So imagine, even this Srila Prabhupada taught us. Instead of just saying, hey, hello, how are you? Then this is how Vaishnavas used to greet each other. So welcome everyone to this session of Kirtan. Today we are going to be talking about two topics. I would say they're the most important topics in Krishna consciousness. The first topic is the 125th anniversary appearance of our founder Acharya A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that and the importance, contributions and accomplishments of Srila Prabhupada to this planet. And the second topic we're going to, which is also the other most important topic in Krishna consciousness, is the glories of the holy name. For Kali Yuga, that's actually the most important topic after the Guru. So, before we start the program, I also would like to offer this Kirtan and Katha session for the soon recovery of several devotees, starting by Pankajangri Prabhu, Sadbhuj Prabhu. They're both in the same hospital fighting this COVID. Also Raivata Prabhu, who is recovering from there. And there is Jasaswini Mataji also. And all the devotees from Mayapur and the world who are fighting against this COVID. I want to offer this Kirtan for their soon recovery and protection of all the souls in this planet. So, since today we are going to be talking about Srila Prabhupada, then I will start my Kirtan with a very beautiful tune. This is a tune by Srila Prabhupada, so it's very special. And I'm sure many of you know it, and if you don't know it, then you can learn it. So, today I have a virtual Kirtan group that's going to be with me, and because I want this program to be interactive, so I want all of you to chant with me. So I will chant first the leading, and I will leave the time for you guys to repeat. Okay? So let's start. Namo Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pasyata Desatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ashram Baba. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Jai Harinam Sankirtan Jagya Ki Jai. So, I hope the mirdanga and the kartals you could hear. Yes, I want to say hello to the devotees who are connected right now. So, for those who came now, today we are going to be talking about two main topics. The anniversary, 125th anniversary of the appearance of Srila Prabhupada, which is happening this year. Well, and the second one is about the glories of the holy name. 125th, wow. I still can remember when we had the the centennial program for Srila Prabhupada. Actually, Srila Prabhupada movement is just starting. It's just starting. And in the future, these anniversaries are going to be worldwide, governments, everybody. When the people come to know of the great achievements that Srila Prabhupada has done and continues doing it day after day through his disciples and the disciples of his disciples. Hare Krishna. From Rishikesh. Lessons. Okay? So, during the program, I am going to be talking about some accomplishments and achievements that Srila Prabhupada did, the contributions to this world. But if you also, you can think of what are the most important contributions that Srila Prabhupada did, you can also post them. I'm seeing here the comments, and then we can discuss about them. So, well, when we talk about a personality like Srila Prabhupada, actually, we know that we are going to be short in words, in adjectives, in everything that we say, because personality like Srila Prabhupada is very rare, and these personalities appear very, very rare in this world. Well, imagine Srila Prabhupada, it could be level in the level of the avatars, because, for example, even there are predictions in the scriptures that talk about Srila Prabhupada coming, and I will share with you some of these ones, because we usually talk about that, but we don't have the exact quotations, so it may sound like just somebody saying like this. But actually, I found an article by one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, and now we're going to talk about the prophecies, the predicted the coming of appearance of Srila Prabhupada. So imagine the first prediction that we can find, it was actually predicted by Krishna himself. So in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana, in a conversation with Ganga Devi, Ganga Devi, those who are there in Rishikesh, Krishna talking to Ganga Devi, Lord Krishna describes that after 5,000 years of Kali Yuga have passed, imagine the exactitude of the prediction. Now we say that after Kali Yuga started, 5,000 years have passed. So this is how exact this prediction is. So Krishna says, after 5,000 years of Kali Yuga have passed, his mantra upasaka, the great sage and worshipper of Krishna's holy names, will appear and spread the chanting of Krishna's name in the form of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, not only in India but throughout the world. So imagine. So he says, Lord Krishna explains that by the chanting of his holy names, the world will become spiritualized and everyone will be Hari Bhaktas, engaged in the process of devotion to the Supreme. Thus, Sri Krishna predicted the appearance of a powerful devotee who would spread the chanting of his names worldwide. And, you know, who else are we going to think about if there was only one person who did this in the story of the humanity? And this is Srila Prabhupada, our dear Srila Prabhupada. So that's the first prediction. I don't know how many of you knew about this before finding this. I even didn't know about this prediction. Now the second prediction, first Krishna predicted. Then the second prediction, Krishna himself when he came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, in the Sri Chaitanya Mangal, a biography of Sri Chaitanya, the most recent incarnation of Lord Krishna, written in 1537 by Sri Lochan Das Thakur, Lord Chaitanya foretold the coming of an empowered devotee who would take the Sankirtan process everywhere. I want to flood the whole world with the chanting of the holy names. I will personally preach and flood India with the Harinam Sankirtan, chanting of the holy names. And my Senapati Bhakta, great devotee commander, will come, preach in different countries and flood the whole world with the chanting of Hare Krishna. So this is the famous quote in the Chaitanya Mangal, where this word is quoted, Senapati Bhakta. That's why we refer sometimes to Srila Prabhupada as Sena Bhakti. And that is a very famous prediction. Imagine Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also predicting the appearance. And then the third prophecy that I have here is actually divided in two. And this is in the 1800s by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who predicted in his magazine Sajjana Toshani in an article called Nityananda Suryodoy. So the quote is very precise. It says, "Soon there will be a time when the chanting of Krishna's name will be heard in England, France, Russia, Germany, and America." Jai! Exactly all these places that Srila Prabhupada went. In the same article, Bhaktivinoda questioned, when will that day come when all greatly fortunate souls take up banners, drums, and hand cymbals and cause the ecstatic waves of Harinam Kirtans and the singing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's holy name to rise in the streets of their towns and city? When will that day come? This was the question of many devotees, Vaishnavas. They were all wondering, when will this day come? And finally came, and now we are experiencing the results of this wonderful appearance. And the second part of this prediction is in 1896, Bhaktivinoda Thakur predicted in his book Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his life and precepts, on page 62, for those who have the book, okay? The principle of Kirtan as the future church of the world invites all classes of men without distinction of caste, creed, or clan to the highest cultivation of the spirit. This church will extend all over the world and take the place of all sectarian churches which exclude outsiders from the precincts of their mosque, church, or temples. So there is Bhaktivinoda Thakur not only predicting the appearance of Srila Prabhupada, so he's also predicting the appearance of ISKCON and how ISKCON was going to be that world church, that it was going to include and accept everyone. Because why do we accept everyone? Because our first teaching, Srila Prabhupada taught us, is that we are not this body, we're all spirit souls. In this way, everybody is welcome to join. So, imagine this. Only incarnations, they are predicted in the scriptures in this way. And actually, this is one of the main aspects to consider when somebody calls himself an incarnation of the Lord. You know, so many incarnations, Prabhupada said. Local gurus, local God, so many local God. And then, where is the prediction? Where are the predictions? So imagine Srila Prabhupada appearance is predicted in the scriptures. Now, another prediction that I would say it was fulfilled, that I didn't mention here, it was the prediction of the astrologer. When Srila Prabhupada was born, his father brought an astrologer, and when he read the chart, he predicted, we all know this prediction, that when he turns 70, I think it says like that, he will cross the ocean and he will preach Sanatan Dharma and open 108 temples all over the world. So that is another prediction. And he was just being born. But it was there in his chart. It was there in his chart. So, these predictions are amazing. But I would say that more amazing than these predictions are the way how Krishna arranged everything for Srila Prabhupada to fulfill these predictions. Because, I mean, this is something unbelievable, and this is the other reason why we can establish Srila Prabhupada as a Shakti Avesa avatar, is because whatever he did, only Krishna could have done it. And this, you know, generations and generations will speak about this. The journey that Srila Prabhupada took to be able to fulfill these predictions. And by doing this, he gave hope to the whole world. Because it is clearly stated in the Vedas that if one accepts a human body and he does not take this great opportunity to search about who he is, about what I'm doing here, who is God, what is my relationship with him, then his opportunity is wasted, and he will have to go back to the cycle of samsaras. 8,400,000 species of bodies. You have to go again because human life was wasted. So imagine if Srila Prabhupada had not come to tell us this. You know, what awaited us was 8,400,000 births more in this cycle. How can we ever repay this to Srila Prabhupada? There is nothing we can say, nothing we can do that could ever repay this. This is extreme mercy shown by Srila Prabhupada. So you say, no, but anybody could have done it. No, my friends. Srila Prabhupada And Krishna didn't make it easy for him. He could have gone to America when he was 30, even 40 years old, full of energy, you know, and he would have done so many, and everybody would say, ah, as a young man at 30 or 40. He did it at 70. Imagine. One devotee told me that Bhakti Charu Maharaj once, Bhakti Charu Maharaj, he asked in the class, do you have any idea what Srila Prabhupada has done? And the devotee said, well, Maharaj, yes, we have some idea. So he said, no, you all don't have any idea of what Srila Prabhupada said. When you reach the age of 70, then you will have an idea what Srila Prabhupada did. We all know that this age of 70 is heavy. The body becomes old and sick, and so, and even in this age, Srila Prabhupada did it with all full strength and power. He could have taken a plane. The planes already existed. He could have traveled like we all travel. Let me buy this ticket and travel by a plane. No, he traveled by a cargo ship, not even a passenger ship, a cargo ship. And this is really terrible. His ship was not even this so big, so the movements of the waves, it was terrible. Srila Prabhupada, as we all know, had 2 heart attacks and almost didn't make it. But Krishna had his plan for him. And in this way, if we analyze, everything, he could have gone with a big sponsor. Oh yes, everything sponsor, big money, and he could have just go and buy a big church and start preaching like that. No, he had no sponsor. He tried to get help. He had no help. Nobody was helping him, and he was trying, and everything he tried, it was failing, but he never gave up. Talking about all these things is very emotional, and this is why I encourage everyone, those who haven't done it, to please read Srila Prabhupada's biography, Prabhupada Lamrita, and many other biographies like that, because if we don't read this, we will never actually get to know Srila Prabhupada. Who was him? How was his character? How he saved Vaishnavism? How he saved the whole world? Imagine, his spiritual master had started this big preaching movement. It was so successful, so many devotees, so many preachers, and suddenly after his departure, the preaching just went down, and it was almost stopped. And for different reasons that I don't want to discuss here, the preaching was stuck. And Srila Prabhupada there as a grihasta, trying to push, helping here and doing and writing, and then he left his family, took sannyas, and encouraging his god brothers, please, let's take the preaching, and let's go to the west and preach. This is what the acharyas want. And as an arrangement of Krishna, he didn't get any help, because Krishna wanted to show the greatness of Srila Prabhupada. Because not only he was predicted in all these scriptures, but the way he did it was glorious by himself at the very old age, with no money, no help, only the faith in the words of his spiritual master and the faith of the holy name is where the weapons that Srila Prabhupada brought, and of course, Srimad Bhagavatam. So, my friends, 125th anniversary of Srila Prabhupada. We could speak here, so many hours just to glorify Srila Prabhupada. Actually, I ask for forgiveness, Srila Prabhupada, that I am not so eloquent to be able to glorify his lotus feet. I just try to say these things that come to my heart and share them with you. So, one of the greatest treasures that Srila Prabhupada brought to us, and this is the second topic of our katha, is the holy name of Radha and Krishna. Everything that Srila Prabhupada brought is amazing, but especially Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had come to deliver the process by which people will be successfully, spiritually successful, and reach the supreme goal of life in this Kali Yuga, because the other processes, not possible in this age. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes and he distributes Harinam Sankirtan. The whole world remains, for 500 years, the whole world remained aloof of this great movement. And then Srila Prabhupada comes. This is amazing. One single person sitting down in a park, chanting with not even a mridanga, a little drum, with full faith in his heart, completely convinced that this chanting of the holy name is the only solution of all the problems in the world. And the rest is history. And this is the reason why I am sitting here. For those who don't know, I didn't introduce myself, my God. My name is Giri Govardhan Das. I am from Venezuela, South America. Venezuela, South America. Nobody knows anything about India or India culture. There are no Indians living in Venezuela. The only Indians that live in Venezuela are the ones who work in the embassy. Apart from that, no Indians. So how were we going to know about the holy name? And not only that, but I also want to say that in this, Srila Prabhupada, in his activity of spreading the holy name in Krishna consciousness all over the world, he circled the globe 14 times in 12 years. But the only place in South America that he actually visited was Caracas, Venezuela. And that's a city where I was living. So this makes me more indebted to him. Actually, I was living there in Caracas when Srila Prabhupada visited in 18th of February 1975. I was living I was only 5 years old, but I was living very close to the temple. And Srila Prabhupada came to Venezuela and he preached, presented Krishna consciousness, and the same way he was empowered, because this is the other thing. Nobody can spread Krishna consciousness if he's not empowered. This is another reason why we say Srila Prabhupada says Shakti Avesavatara. He has been empowered directly by Krishna. In the same way he was empowered, Srila Prabhupada empowered his disciples to travel all around the world, especially many devotees from South America. They came to Caracas, Venezuela to meet Srila Prabhupada, to have darshan and to get initiation. And in this way, Srila Prabhupada empowered all of them to go and travel all South America, Central America, Caribbean islands, and go and open temples and let the miracle happen. So this holy name, I want to close the topic of Srila Prabhupada by reading one verse from Śrīmad Bhagavatam. From the first canto, first chapter, text 22. And this is the question by the sages. And they say, "We think that we have met your goodness by the will of providence, just so that we may accept you as captain of the ship for those who desire to cross the difficult ocean of Kali, which deteriorates all the good qualities of a human being." So these are the sages of Naimisharanya accepting Sutta Goswami as the captain of their ship. So in this way, I also want to quote this verse that encourage everyone to accept Srila Prabhupada as the captain of our ship, of his ship. He built, a big ship. There is a quote that said that he built a house in which the whole world can live. And this house is also a ship. This is the ship. So he is the captain. We accept him as the captain. And in this way, we are going to cross over this difficult ocean of Kali by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so this is, I wanted to finish with this. And I want to start. What time is it? Wow, I think I'm over the time. Well, just let me read 1:8:26, but I started also late. Just gonna read this, and this is Queen Kunti. My Guru Maharaj, he likes to talk about the holy name through this verse. This is Queen Kunti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. My Lord, your lordship can easily be approached only by those who are materially exhausted. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feelings. So, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about how this process works. He says, consequently, such material puffed up persons are incapable of uttering the holy name of the Lord by addressing him feelingly, "Oh Govinda, oh Krishna." It is said in the Shastra that by once uttering the holy name of the Lord, the sinner gets rid of a quantity of sins that he is unable to commit. Such is the power of the uttering of the holy name of the Lord. There is no the least exaggeration in this statement. Actually, the Lord's holy name has such powerful potency, but there is a quality to such utterances also. It depends on the quality of feeling. And I will stop the reading there. So what this means is that according to our feeling, Krishna is going to manifest to each of us in a different way. This is why my Guru Maharaj, he says that we are not chanting the same name, even though it sounds like we're chanting the same name, but it is not the same name, because Krishna has a different relationship with all his living entities, and each relationship with Krishna is different. So the way we chant the holy name with this feeling, in this way Krishna is going to reciprocate with us. So this means that we have to try to get this feeling. We have to try to go deep into the chanting of the holy name. We know about feeling because we know about feeling, loving your parents, loving your wife or boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, brothers, sisters, friends. We know about this feeling. We know how it feels. But the problem is that we don't have this feeling for Krishna. And this is what it's required. And when we develop this feeling for Krishna, only then we will be eligible to go to the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan, and serve him. So, the holy name of Krishna is Krishna himself. When we chant the holy name, we have to try to meditate that this sound is exactly as if I would be having darshan of Krishna. So imagine how we would be completely, respectful and ecstasy. But in the same way, we should be when we chant the holy name, because there's no difference. So this is why, like it says there, it only needs one pure name for us to reestablish our relationship with Krishna. But our condition is so fallen and so contaminated, so many years in this world, that we need to practice, chant and chant. The holy name is the supreme goal, but it is also the means by which we can get the supreme goal. So the holy name is everything. There are, and especially in this Kali Yuga, this holy name has been completely empowered, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in the Shikshastaka. Your holy name, you have put all your powers into this holy name. And if we want to see Krishna through his holy name. Okay, so I think it's getting to finish this kata. I want to thank the ISKCON Kirtan ministry headed by Lokanath Swami, and also Govinda Prabhu, who invited me to share all this kata and kirtan with all of you. Thank you very much. And let's finish with the meditation of the holy name. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Thank you everyone for joining me in this session. Sorry for the technical problems, and please meditate this year, especially spread the word, the glories of Srila Prabhupada, our Senapati Bhakta, and let's take this process very serious. And if we take this process very serious, eternal life is guaranteed for all of us. As Srila Prabhupada says in one of the portals. Eternal life is guaranteed for us. So, thank you very much. Keep connected, and I'll see you in next time. Hare Krishna.